Hey folks, so I'm getting my weird camera set up and running. I actually use a remote camera setup. So got to get that up and running. But yeah, once we get that up and running, we'll start doing the games proper. So there we go. Now got my camera set up and should be running live on, well, pretty much everything. Live on LiveSpace, Twitch, YouTube, and Kick all at once. Gonna be playing some more R-Type Leo to at least begin the stream. Might do some other things after that, but that's what we're gonna start with again today. As well, I've been having a lot of fun trying to learn how to 1cc that one. If you wonder what this is, I am running this on a MiSTer FPGA device, and if you want to learn more about a MiSTer, I can certainly tell you about it.
Let's go.
But yeah, I've been playing a lot of R-Type Leo lately. It's a pretty good horizontal shmup. A lot different than the other R-Type games, and one that never came home in any real way. The MiSTer runs it perfectly though. This is the original arcade version because, well, there isn't another version because until very recently and only on one of those mini arcade systems never came home. But the MiSTer supports a lot of cool arcade games, and well, this is certainly one of them. But yeah, I hope stuff's going well for anybody who happens to be watching, regardless of how or where you're watching from. You're having a good day. Right into it. Oh well. This is the first credit, we'll just keep going. Eventually, I'm, kind of trying to work towards 1cc in this, but certainly not that skilled yet. Especially not in the later levels. But it's fun regardless, huh?
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
that weapon, but that's alright. It's not terrible. In fact, it's actually the weapon you're kind of supposed to have on this level. Because that way you can make shots like this. You don't have to just rely on that. But we'll go back to the weapon I prefer. But yeah, I do really enjoy me some R-Type Leo, and if you haven't seen it, I'm glad to talk about the game or about anything else you want to talk about. Because, well, I happen to be one of those people who's been around a long time and done a lot of things. Well, maybe not been around streaming actively a lot of that time, but, you know, been gaming for almost 40 years.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
But regardless of what's going on, if you're here watching, either live or via VOD of some type, I hope you're having a great time. I'm just not playing this boss, though. 2 lives in that boss. Yeah, I really need to practice that more, but well, that's why we play the game more, huh?
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Thought I had dodged that, did not. Oh well. First credit wasn't the best, but it wasn't terrible, and I did get into 4. But I do hope folks are having a good day out there.
Three, two, one. Let's go.
But yeah, if you wonder about anything or you want any talk about the game or about, well, just about anything else, feel free to ask. Always willing to chat with folks about, well, just about whatever, honestly. That was a pretty good level one, just about perfect, in fact.
Three, two, one. Let's go.
Yep, that was a bit wasted, but oh well.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Pretty good first almost 2 levels, and then randomly dying the boss. I'll be honest, after that death at the boss at the end of level 2, my heart wasn't in the credit anymore. So I'm going to take just a moment, puff on the vape a little bit, and see if anybody's chatting anywhere. Doesn't look like they are, but that's okay. Yeah, this one doesn't have any music in the attract mode, so that is just how it is. Alright, let's go into the next credit. But yeah, I'm probably going to be hitting this one, for a fair bit today, at least for a few hours is my thought.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
I'll probably stay for another 3.5, but I might not play this the whole time. So just hanging out and playing good old R-Type video. It's been a bit of an interesting couple days for me as my furnace is out. Although luckily I have electric heaters that I can run. It's more expensive, so it's not a good long-term solution. But at least keep us cozy for the few days before the furnace gets properly fixed. Yeah, one of the parts that, detects things getting too warm is always turning itself on no matter what. And so that part needs to be replaced. But the company I called did not happen to have the part on hand, so they had to call out to get the part. It'll take them a few days. But at least for those 2 days, you know, I'm not cold or anything. Like I said, I've got those electric heaters, which keep the house pretty much about as warm as normal. Just costs more to run. Other than that, had a pile of job interviews. Started the day thinking I had 3 today, but ended up with only 2, because one of them decided to move itself to Thursday. And so, in the meantime, I, stream some fun games that I'm playing on Twitch and see if anybody wants to hang out. If people want to hang out, great. If people don't want to hang out, well, that's alright too. I'm still having a good time playing a game I like. Learning how to 1cc. Like I said, I've actually decided I'm going to take a real goal of getting consistent 1cc's in this game. That way maybe I can do it in, some kind of cool, charity speedrunning thing or something. Having myself in too much. My own fault. But at least this game doesn't really have Drautius syndrome too much. You're quite capable with just a power up of 3. And they come at a decent clip. Power up and that get back to full strength. That's actually max level already with everything.
Let's go.
Yeah. And here we go.
2, 1. Let's go. Three, two, one. Let's go.
Oh, perfect one at least.
3, 2, 1. Let's go. 2, 1. Let's go.
Well, they did better on the boss that time. Well, they did better on the rest of the stage, huh?
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Guess I got one more life from him before than I have the last few. And I even got him before. Oh, quite a good level 4 so far. Although I'll be honest, I, almost don't even know what to do with this boss. Like I just have not played it very much. Yeah, I've really got to figure out the Best ways to dodge those bullet patterns. But the way I play games, the only way to actually do that is to, well, get there.
Let's go. Forth like watering the lawn. This is the general strategy of that part of the stage. Oh, you just want to hear me. Hey Aquas, thanks. I'm having a lot of fun. Apparently Aquas brought along the whole party. 41 people in a raid. Thanks so much. Hope you guys have a great time. I'm just out here playing some more R-Type Leo, which is a game I've been trying to learn the 1cc of for the last few days. Not that great yet, but you know, we might get there eventually. Just played through perfect level 1, getting into level 2 right now. If you have any questions about anything I'm doing or anything about the game or my setup, feel free to ask. I do have a lot of, setup stuff. Right now I'm actually using as my controller a custom mix box that I built, playing this on a MiSTer FPGA, which, well, if you're unfamiliar with that, oh boy, you're in for a treat. The MiSTer is a pretty awesome device. Perfect FPGA simulations of pretty much everything up to about the 32-bit era of consoles, and a lot of the arcade games that came out in those eras as well. This game, in fact, is an arcade game that never had home port, so there is no home port for this. It's just an arcade game. Although they finally did have something of a home port
but that's because it was included on one of the mini arcade cabinets pretty recently, actually. But before that, there was actually no, no real way to play this at home other than booting it up in MAME. But I hope anybody staying around is having a good time. And hey, through level 2 perfectly. Oh, nice start, huh?
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
But yeah, if you got any questions about the game, my setup, me in general, feel free to ask. I'm always willing to talk about just about whatever, honestly. Ouch. Finally lost a life. A little bit tough to navigate that bit. But this is a game that really does not have Gradius syndrome. You can get back to effective full power in almost no time. All I need is that M and 1 speed power up. There's the speed. And we're actually pretty much back to standard power levels. One of the things I like about this game, it's a little bit more forgiving than a lot of other shmups with not having a Gradius syndrome problem. Gradius syndrome, for those who are unaware, is once you die, it's nearly impossible to recover because you have to do so much collecting power-ups and all that. Fun. Actually, that was a controller snafu. The button got stuck. But I built the controller, so it's my own dang fault. Yeah, I'm still trying to get better at this boss. I'm not the greatest at it yet. Just gotta remember the timings better. I guess I'm through and on to level 4, but yeah, not in a great state.
3.
Last round was better, but that's okay. Collecting the power-ups for fun, I don't even need them. Just already back to full on everything at this point. But yeah, I hope everybody's having a good time hanging out. Gonna look at a few setup and settings things quick. All right, ready to go.
Let's go.
And yeah, if you wonder anything about the mechanics of this game or anything else, always feel free to say hi and talk about it. Otherwise, just enjoy the chill music and just simple gameplay. Switch weapons, but this one isn't so bad. It works pretty well. Really, all the weapons are decent in this game.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I don't like about this weapon nearly as well, is the reverse shot. Being able to shoot straight backwards like this is really useful. Which is why I tend to prefer red, and I actually prefer green to blue, choosing between the other two. But all three of them are decent, so even my least favorite weapon is decent and has its uses. Stuff like that, or firing forward and backward at the same time. One of the reasons why the red is by far my preferred. But yeah, blue and green aren't bad, but that trick works really well. Hey, 2 perfect levels. Oh, that's a good start.
3, 2, 1. Let's
Or
go.
at least close enough to perfect. No super play perfect, but 2 levels is no miss at a very high level. Thought I was past that, I was not.
actually decent. I think it's probably a better weapon against this boss. That wasn't enough. Oh well. Guess I'm through at least.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Strategic mistake. Yep. Yeah, nice to see you, Sage Xiaozu. Glad you're enjoying the music and rocking out to it. These IREM games had some pretty fun music. Nice and chill. Good games to just chill out to for a while.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
But as I said, all the weapons in this are pretty good, and switching back is easy. This game is indeed nothing but hot jams, yeah.
2, 1. Let's go.
And you gotta love that,
going into a stage. 3, 2, 1, let's go. And you go to the hot jams. So yeah, just the audio design of this game is just great. Even down to the sound effects and stuff. And well, IREM was pretty good at that. They were kind of known for that. Well, let that build up too much. Stayed in the place where all the bullets were going. So yeah, I'm certainly far from the best from upper there is, but I'm alright, and I certainly have fun doing it.
Three, two, one. Let's go. Dodge the wrong way. One of the things I like about this game is it always feels fair. Even when I die, it feels like it's my fault, you know? Like that. I could have dodged that. And that, you know? Just had to pay attention to both of the things on the screen at once. And I did. But yeah, it always feels like a fair game.
And for those who were kind enough to watch an ad for me, welcome back from the ad break. We're going back into a new credit. Don't know for sure if I'll just keep to R-Type Leo or go to something else eventually, but at the moment, just jamming some R-Type Leo. That's what you're here for, great. If it's not what you're here for, and you're here for perhaps a cool chat with somebody, feel free to say hi. But I do want to give a nice welcome to everybody who's been hanging out, especially those who came via the raid from Aquas. If you're going from Aquas, you probably know me as a chatter over there, because, well, I've been watching Aquas for many, many years at this point. Many, many moons. And occasionally, especially when I'm between jobs as I am at the moment, I decide to make some time for streaming. And usually, well, I stream shmups. Occasionally I do other things. I'm known to break out the Zelda 1 randomizer on occasion, for example. And yeah, mostly shmups. Occasionally I speedrun the few shmups that are really good for speedrunning. Which are Super Smash Brothers, not Super Smash TV. I'm not that great at Smash TV, but I try to speedrun it just the same sometimes. And the one game at which I am very legitimately the best in the world, Bangai-O on Dreamcast. If you ever want to learn about speedrunning Bangai-O on Dreamcast, please ask me. I will help you.
Let's go.
All I can say about the game is nobody else ever really took it seriously other than me, as far as I can tell, as I was able to take the time down 20 minutes from 60 minutes to under 40 during my time running the game. Even ran it at an SVDQ once. But yeah, otherwise, well, I play shmups. Sometimes I play other stuff, but mostly I play shmups. A lot of shmups. I usually have a great time doing so. Other than that, don't expect any big reactions from me almost no matter how a game goes. I just play chill. That's how I do things. As well, and I always press start again. Even if a game doesn't go perfectly, just press start right again. And if I've done a thing before, I'm sure I can do it again. I take a few tries, but we'll get there.
Let's go.
And also, shout out for anybody watching me on any of the platforms. I am streaming simultaneously on LiveSpace, Kick, Twitch, and YouTube. So, however you're watching me, feel free to reach out. I do have chats up from all of the above, and can indeed see you if you have anything to say to me. Well, anything to switch, but it's actually probably the better weapon for this level. Back to my normal though. But yeah, blue is actually probably the weapon this level is built for. Yeah, the first level is built for red, the second level is built for green, and the third level is built for blue. And there I am, just taking a quick little hit. I should have dodged that, but oh well, it happens. Oh, I'd rather have that than no weapon, I guess. Yep, it's just all falling apart here at the end of level 3. So the one good thing about this base weapon is you actually, if you use auto fire, can do way more damage with this against bosses than the other weapons. Especially if you get in close and point blank them. I'm just kind of having fun and playing around with stuff at this point. Easy weapon, maybe I'll survive a little in this, because this is definitely the easier weapon to handle the challenge at this stage. But yeah, I'm at least getting into 4 and pretty much all the credits now, so you know, continuing to get a little better. But yeah, I'm just gonna have a sip or two of my drink and take a short break before heading into the next credit. Anyway, let's get back into another round of R-Type Leo. Like I said, I'm probably going to mostly stick with R-Type Leo today. And play it the way I do, which means I don't continue. I always play as if I'm trying for a 1TC.
Let's go.
So I hope you don't mind seeing the early levels a lot, because that's what you're going to see. And hopefully you'll see me get better and see me eventually once you see the game. But that might take, you know, more than one day. This is actually already day about 5 of starting to hit this one really hard. But yeah, most of what you're going to see on this channel in general is me playing around on my MiSTer and probably mostly shmups, but, you know, there is other stuff too, maybe. As well, I play what I'm enjoying at the moment. Shmups are my favorite genre, what I enjoy the most on average, but I certainly don't exclusively play that. I'm known to dive into things like Zelda 1 Randomizer and just stuff like that. So. Regardless, I hope you're having a good time listening to me yammer on randomly and play a pretty cool game with some chill tunes.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, this sort of thing, well, this is just how I relax. And, well, maybe you guys can find it relaxing too, huh?
Let's go.
So, 2 perfect levels. Nice way to start. Not perfect, but, you know, at least no miss, huh? For those of you who aren't used to shmups ups, that simply means I didn't die. It's actually one of the challenges shmuppers often set for themselves, to be able to no-miss an entire game. One step beyond 1cc, you know? 1cc is a one-credit clear, for anyone unfamiliar with that. And that means to beat the entire shoot-'em-up, whereas most shoot-'em-ups are arcade, or at least play like they're in the arcade, even if they're at home. And playing through the entire shmup in one credit, therefore not continuing, is a one-credit clear, for anyone unfamiliar with those things. And that is generally my goal with this game, is to learn a one-credit clear, maybe even a no-miss. Glad I had that all handled. Definitely not no miss this time, huh? Still got 1cc alive as a possibility. Not likely though. And, you know, like I said, I only play a game until my one credit goes out, so probably gonna be done with this round pretty quick, huh? Power my way through the boss, but down to the last life, and
Let's go.
only, you know, one power up. But this game allows you to rebuild power-ups pretty quickly. It's definitely not a game where rebuilding your power-ups is anything of an issue.
But there's nothing that protects you from fire from the front. At least now the entire leaderboard can be getting into level 4, so that's nice. I think this one has like 6 levels. So yeah, I'm going to take a little bit of a breather before stepping into the next credit. Let you guys watch some of the stuff that I'm not playing yet, because I'm not getting to it yet. As you can see, yes, you can 2 players simul this one, which is actually a little odd for an R-type game, but one was set up for that. But yeah, if you wonder anything about shmupping in general, or retro gaming in general, or any of my crazy setup stuff, do feel free to ask. I'm a bit of a retro historian, and I've been playing games for about 40 years. Yeah, since I was a little one. So, I've grown up with the arcades as much as they've grown up with me, as I often like to put it.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Born right around the time that Pac-Man came out. So about the only things I missed being new were Pong and Space Invaders. And I liked old stuff even when I was young. never been one who just wants to play all the, you know, brand new everything, whatever's the newest. Nah, I'll go back to whatever as long as it's fun. Doesn't matter what era it's from. I'm actually more likely to play the older stuff these days because I prefer 2D to 3D in almost all instances. But the only type of 3D games I like very much are flight sims. It's another of my weird hobbies. I actually have a really good flight sim setup. I'll put it this way, my joystick for my flight sim setup costs more than PS5 does. Really. BKB Gunfighter Ultimate. Dying in the first level. You know what, I'm just gonna reset dying in the first level. And you know what? Since I'm in the menus, I'm actually gonna switch these two things on. One, so I can pause the game when I want to, because there's no way to pause the game outside of this. And also to set it to actually save my score data. I wonder if there's anything interesting in the switches to play with. Sure, we'll just set it to not allow continue so it doesn't ask me to. That's a good thing to do. I wonder what difficulties we've got. Sure, we'll be silly and we'll play around on very easy and see how it changes it. Because I've never actually played with the difficulty on this, I'm just playing it on, you know, default arcade. So yeah, why not play with the settings? See how easy, very easy is, and if I can 1cc that, get through and start increasing the difficulty. There's only one way to learn a game. Yep, so far, yeah, they do fire less and slower. Really about the only difference I've noticed. It's about the same amount of enemies in the same places, and they fire less and they fire slower. Well, good to know, I guess. Boss hit points. Wow. Yeah, the boss have way less hit points.
3, 2, 1.
One other difference is very easy, I guess. have less hit points too, I think. So I guess anything that takes, you know, more than one hit has less hit points in this mode. Those still fire a lot, even though it's very easy. It's slower, but yeah, those still fire just as much, which is kind of interesting. That guy seemed to have just as many hit points. But the first Earth stage boss just went down so quick.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
He certainly fired a lot less though. And slower. Yeah, those grips are gripping slower too. But interestingly, the guys who are firing the straight lasers are firing just as much. The insects firing those straight lasers, those were firing just as much as they normally do. And those weren't that much slower, if any. So those change less, I guess. Take many less hit points, although the shots were much slower and less numerous.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
First death and very easy. things fire a lot less. Yeah, this whole thing is way easier and very easy. This part isn't though. Well, it fires slower, but not just too much. This is way easier and very easy. You fire like half as much. I didn't even know they did that. That's good.
Yeah, it tells you how far I've gotten. You haven't played against that much, us very much.
Let's go.
Now I've still got a life left thanks to the easiness of very easy. Coming into this stage, one problem is no resources and anything like that. Now that'll help a lot, just having the basic. This is real tough sequence and normal instead of very easy. Even in very easy, it's not the easiest of sequences. Yeah, have to figure out where to beat in the little transport things.
Huh. Well, I guess very easy allowed me to get farther, so it is actually easier, and you know I didn't up the life count or anything either. That's the other thing I can do if I want to make it as easy as possible. I can go into the dip switches and see how many lives it'll give me. Yeah, it'll give you up to 5 instead of 1. So if I want to go to the true very easy and see how far I can get with it still being a legitimate 1cc attempt, that would be like this. And it'll allow me to at least practice the later parts of the game a little more that way, and still maintain the way I play games. And once I learn more about practicing them in easier modes, I can turn the modes harder. Maybe even go for a no miss eventually.
nice bass when you blow up the rocks. Probably sounds better in my headphones than it would have in the original cab.
Three, two, one.
Let's go.
3 levels without losing a life. And with the extra lives, I still got 6.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
First life, and a really sticky place to lose a life. Oh well, got out of it for the most part, other than losing the 1 life and getting down to this. There we go, rebuilt to standard. Before it fired that laser, so on to 5, I guess. And 5 I really don't know. Like, the only time I played through this almost at all is I credit scanned my way through the game exactly once. Pretty much the only time I've played through 5. And as I remember, I died a lot. Actually, I'm not too far forward now, so that's good to know. Switch, but well. That, not quite. Almost out of lives. But hey, I got to learn more about how playing this stage works. Thought I'd dodge that, did not. Oh well. Getting farther. And hey, Mutt rated as well. Nice to see ya. Mutt, thanks for bringing along some friends this time. I appreciate it. Yeah, still banging out R-Type Leo. I've actually switched it to the training wheels mode pretty much, the easiest mode, so I can try to get a little farther in learning. Hey, you're playing some Leo too, huh? Fun stuff. Hey, Structor Cube, nice to meet you. I haven't seen you around before. At least I don't remember you if I did. Sorry if I forget you, but...
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
But yeah, I'm just banging out some R-Type Leo. Like I said, I've kind of put it into training wheels mode so I can learn as much as I can to try to learn how to 1cc it. Maximum lives and very easy, which mostly makes bullets a little slower. Just starting a new credit, as you can see. And I don't credit spam through. I'm just play until my one credit is done, and then I try again. That's how I do. And hopefully eventually I'll learn how to 1cc this thing. I almost got a 1cc last night for choking the final boss. Oh, that always hurts. Hey, if you like the credit feed and that's what works for you, great. The reason I play this way, a lot of it really comes down to arcade nostalgia. Because that's how I would have actually played in the arcade. Generally, I would play till my credit is done, then I would go on to a different game. Like, sometimes I actually kind of simulate the full experience by doing streams that way, where I'm playing one credit each of a pile of games, rather than just banging out R-Type Leo all day like I've been doing for the last few. But yeah, a lot of times I'll do that where I just, put in one credit, play as far as I get, and as far as I get in that game, that's as far as I get in that game. And then I play the next game and put in a credit into that.
Let's go.
Actually, a lot of games do count your credits in a kind of a sneaky and funny way. You see, a lot of games will give you 1 point whenever you continue. So when you finish a game, that's the only way to get 1 point or anything that small. So there actually are a lot of games that actually do count your credits in that manner. Yep, that's not so good. Already losing a life. Oh well, that's what happens when you're learning. Paying more attention to my chat than to my game, and well, that's what happens. Sure, we'll go with green. Green's what you're supposed to use in this level anyway. The first 3 levels are made to teach you how to use each weapon. This is the green level. So we'll stick on green for a change to show you guys how to use it. I like red way better. It's my favorite weapon by far. But green's okay. So, play through the level the way you're supposed to with green. Yeah, this one is made to teach you green, and the next one is made to teach you blue. That's how the first 3 levels of this game were designed. It's very obvious if you play that way. Switch to blue. Oh well, I guess we're using blue now. Didn't mean to switch it. it happens. He's changing the button layout on MiSTer. Took 5 minutes the first time, yeah. I really like MiSTer. It's just such a great device in pretty much every way. And I've also had a MiSTer longer than almost anybody. I'll put it this way. When I got my MiSTer, we didn't even have a Neo Geo core yet.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
But yeah, I can run through the controls of a game in like 10 seconds because I'm so used to doing it. Switch back to red, which is the one I like anyway. Even though blue is actually the one you're supposed to use in this stage. But when you use red, it works pretty well. You just end up using your seeker more often. Thought I was through, was not. Here, we'll get blue. I'm supposed to have anyway. Yeah, blue's usually really good in level, but not nearly as good with bosses. One problem I have with blue is the arc directly behind you is tough to fire on. And I guess we're playing that way. Well, that's what I got, that's what I got. Could actually get me through the boss quicker, because if you are using auto fire like I do, this actually is the way to do the most damage to bosses. I am playing on ACRT, yes. I always play on one of my two PVMs. I actually have two. Well, I have an Ikigami and a PVM, and I have them next to each other. The Ikigami is the one I'm playing on right now, and you know, it's just another brand of thing like a PVM, and that's the one I have horizontal, and my PVM I have, you know, sitting permanently in a vertical orientation, and I have all my systems and my MiSTer wired through both of them, so I don't have to do anything to switch other than turn on the one I'm using. So all of the video goes to both systems at once, both, you know, monitors at once. Using the actual built-in pass-through on PVMs, which if you're unfamiliar, most PVMs have the ability to pass their video back out and amplify it a little bit. And I actually use that capability to feed from one monitor into the other from my, you know, large crazy start switcher setup with, you know, 14 things hooked up to it. Literally 14, that's actually the real number that I have hooked up into my start switching setup. Most of it, I don't even have to press any buttons to swap between systems or anything. I just turn on the right thing. But a few of the lesser used systems, I have to press one button instead of 0 buttons to switch to. G-SCART is one of the things. I have a G-SCART and my other switcher is a, what was the name of that? Shiny Bow? Yeah. But yeah, I have a G-SCART and a Shiny Bow, with the Shiny Bow hooked into one of the 8 on my G-SCART. And that's the one I have to press one button on, is on the Shiny Bow. The G-SCART doesn't need any buttons, just works. And that's how my switching setup works. And when I'm using the MiSTer, I'll use its HDMI to directly capture from. And when I'm using other things, I use an OSSC for my capture, which actually runs into a different capture card. So it's actually all hooked up at once to my machine. I just have to switch which, scene I'm using to switch between my capture cards. Well, that's good to know, Stricter Cubed. I've only faced that boss a few times because I'm usually not getting that far into the game because, like I said, I don't credit spam it. I get as far as I get on 1 credit. It's only my, 5th time against that boss. But yeah, I might well stay around and just keep hitting R-Type Leo for maybe even another hour and a half. Because yeah, trying to learn how to 1cc it. Well, this is how I learn best. And also, stay true to my arcade roots by playing it how I would play it in a real arcade. Because I actually grew up going to the arcades all the time. Games like this weren't that odd, although this is actually a little newer than most of the time I went to the arcade a lot. Because most of that was in the, mid-80s through early 90s. I guess this would have been one of the things that would have come out towards the end of that. But yeah, from probably about 85 through about 95, I went to the arcade at least once a week. Usually on Sunday. Yeah, other families go to church on Sunday. I go play in the arcade on Sunday. Really. I grew up. The advantages of growing up in a non-religious family, I guess. Because I really did grow up in a completely non-religious family. My mom was Lutheran, but my dad was mostly atheist. He's actually more deist, if you know what that is. It was actually the belief of most of our founding fathers, if you're unfamiliar with deism, which is a belief that there probably was some sort of higher power that created the universe. But after creating said universe, rather than caring about what anything does in that universe, they just kind of left it as is and or just watched it but don't interact with it beyond its creation. You're talking weird religion while playing shmup, huh? Yeah, if you wonder about me religiously, I'm actually a chaos magician, which isn't quite what you think it is if you aren't familiar with it. Just completely wasting a life early on. Oh well, happens, I guess. Because that's one of the 2 extras they give me on. But yeah, that's just me looking too much back and forth with chats and stuff. Even though nobody was chatting, I'm just trying to make sure that people aren't trying to interact and getting ignored. I do hope folks are having a good time. I certainly am. Always nice having people to talk to while I hang out and blow some stuff up, huh? Thought I was over that, but I was not. It's one of the things I find myself having a little more difficulty with in a horizontal shmup than a vertical shmup is judging exactly where a shot's going to be. A lot of times I find for whatever reason I judge a shot to be just a little off of where it actually is.
Three, two, one.
Let's go.
Did it again. I did that last game too. I'm already down to my last life. I really haven't been playing that well this round, but that's okay. You don't play well every round. That's how it's gonna be. Especially when you're learning. How many arcade games does MiSTer support? It goes up every day. You can actually look at the official GitHub site to get the current number, but I think it's at least a few hundred at this point. It's a lot. But a lot of that is that people have focused on basically doing the things that almost sort of resemble a system a lot. So things like CPS2 and stuff got implemented pretty quickly. Like the CPS1 and CPS2 hardware, which are very similar to each other and don't require that much more, it's a lot like coding one system and getting a pretty decent library out of it, because between CPS1 and CPS2 and the CPS dash, otherwise known as CPS 1.5, you get, like, you know, probably nearly 100 games just from those. And besides that, a lot of the stuff from that, a lot of the same or similar chips were used in some of the other earlier Capcom stuff. Gives you another about a dozen games. And then people target stuff like the Sega arcade hardware. They're the, you know, 16A and 16B sort of stuff. And so both Sega System 1 and System 16 and the Sega Superscalar hardware. And those all gave you, you know, not just one game, but a lot of games. And that's a lot of the stuff that got the best focus on people. It's when you can bring not just one game, but a lot. Like, another of the big cores is the Cave 68K core, for us shmuppers anyway. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It runs pretty much everything from the Cave 68K days, which means Donpachi, Dodonpachi, and so many other cool things. Dangan Fever Run, S-Braid. And, you know, Cave put out games on their 68K hardware for many years, and a lot of the differences were very small. So you'll get a lot of stuff like that. In fact, if you want, I'll show you through a little. Like, this is just my favorite sections right now. But we'll just show you through the actual arcade and what's available. So, yeah, we got, you know, all the 19XX games. 4D Warriors, Action Fighter. But yeah, a lot of this stuff, though, because it's listed as each individual game, is stuff that, you know, they'd implement one system, and then that one system would run, you know, a lot of games, or at least a few. Like, for example, Asteroids and Asteroids Deluxe. Same core, right? And yeah, we're just getting into the Bs at this point. Yeah. Now, this was like a Sega Ega. This is a Taito, I believe. Yeah, we've got a few different Taito cores on there. The Rising core, which gets you Battle Garega, Battle Bacrade, Aid, and a few other really awesome shmups. But yeah, a lot of the early Atari stuff like Battlezone got implemented because a lot of it's similar to each other. So once you've done, say, Asteroids, doing Battlezone isn't that hard. A lot of the hardware is the same. You know, Berserk and Frenzy, which are pretty much the same board with a, you know, if you can do Frenzy, you've got Berserk for free, right? Yeah, Black Widow's another Atari, for example, that runs on nearly the same sort of hardware. And yeah, there's also all the Namco games, which is, you know, like Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, that sort of thing. A lot of that ran on similar hardware and was nearly the same, including stuff like Bus County and you know, some other stuff that was very similar. But, you know, all the early Namco stuff through about, you know, the mid-'80s was all pretty much the same board. And, you know, they did the Bubble Bobble board, which also got out a few other games from Taito. And, you know, like this is an example of one of the CPS games. That's CPS2, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. But yeah, a lot of the Capcom stuff like Captain Commando, Carrier Air Wing, all that you got by just making two cores and making them actually work for everything. But yeah, there's hundreds of arcade games that are supported. And just all kinds of cool stuff. There's the Dodonpachi section, you know, Donkey Kong and stuff, and the early Nintendo stuff is there too. You can choose to have the color overlay or not. Those are effectively different cores. I'll show you. But yeah, you can play original Space Invaders, which doesn't have any overlays, but it has the background, as you can see. This one, you know, it plays vertically, so if I wanted it to look perfect, I'll have to switch over to vert, show it to you, and also change my MiSTer display settings. There we go. Now, that's how it looks, right? Because this is effectively how it originally looked in the first arcade version. You can also, in options, actually select things like turning off the overlays or turning on and off the background graphics. And those are the actual, you know, dip switches and stuff that were in it. But yeah, and then besides that, you can go into Core, and this one is interesting as it uses recorded samples to do the sound. So the only difference between this one and the other one is the sound. and it's because of those recorded samples. Like, you know, you can turn the overlays off and on if you want to. And then also there's Space Invaders 2, which doesn't, if you're unfamiliar, is basically Space Invaders that actually has color graphics. Like, you know, this was a different game in the arcades. And it's identical to Space Invaders other than the colored graphics. Oh yeah, I have to do that again. Get it to look right for you. But yeah, this is, you know, this was released by Taito as their own game in the arcades that had the actual color of the graphics. So, you have all the options, is what I'm saying. And a lot of the stuff's like that. You have pretty much all the options in MiSTer, as many as they could give you. A lot of the people who write these cores are just really, really good at, you know, and really passionate about making them as perfect as they can be. And yeah, there's a little bit of gameplay differences. You can see the invaders getting smaller. That's like, you know, the gameplay difference of Space Invaders 2. But mostly it's Space Invaders that is color graphics. But yeah, everything, you know, is like that. I'm going to go back over to R-Type Leo, which is, you know, what I've been playing and enjoying. But figured I'd show you a little bit. Oh yeah, that's right, it's at the top because it's R-dash. So we'll switch back to my horizontal scene. There we go. But yeah, in short, there are hundreds of arcade games on MiSTer because a lot of it is it's been around a long time now, right? MiSTer isn't something that's new. Like, well, not that new anyway. I mean, MiSTer first started to become, you know, a popular thing in something like, what, 2017? So it's, you know, it's had a good number of years for people to develop cores on it. And all the cores that were developed for sort of predecessor hardware, which actually goes back to, like, I think 2010 in the original MiST design, which was originally mostly designed to be something that did Atari ST and Amiga. That's actually where this comes from, the whole, you know, MiSTer FPGA project. It actually comes out of people who were originally designing to find a modern way to play Atari and Amiga, like Atari ST and Amiga specifically. And a lot of our other, you know, newer stuff comes kind of from those ideas, as it all goes all the way back to like 2010. So this is, you know, 15 years of arcade cores, right?
Let's go.
And sure, if a given arcade core might have, you know, taken somebody half a year or a year to develop, which is often the sort of time frame, we've now had 17 years of, you know, a few dozen really good developers focusing a lot of their time, thanks to Patreons and stuff, so it's actually a paid job for them on MiSTer. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff. And also, most, you know, actual home systems from, you know, all the way up to the N64 and anything older than that. Pretty much every home system up to the N64 and older than that, including a few portables that are a little newer than that, but used, you know, hardware from those sort of eras. Like, technically, I believe the Wonder Swan Color is newer than the N64 is the GBA. But, you know, the hardware complexity is more like something a little older because it's a portable. And yeah, I'm always glad to, you know, do those sort of asides to talk about the MiSTer, about FPGA stuff in general, about, you know, old arcade stuff. You just want to hear about, you know, my stories of the old man ranting about the days that the arcades were cool. I'm not exactly a young man, but I'm not exactly an old man either, you know. Solidly middle-aged in the 40s. And if you want to hear about any of my other hobbies, I'm really into science fiction in general, and especially literary science fiction, and go to an insane amount of science fiction conventions, like 6 or 7 most years. And professionally, I at least when I'm working, right now I'm not, but when I have a gig, it tends to look something like site reliability engineer or DevOps engineer, and what that means is high level, managing cloud servers at a high level in different manners. Actually, I think R-Type Leo was one of the main reasons why this core got coded, according to the developer. Because R-Type Leo was a really cool game that didn't come home in any cool way. So, I think actually R-Type Leo was the impetus for this specific iROM core. More than any of the other games it plays. Because it was a game they liked, and they'd done on the other R-Type games, R-Type 1 and 2. It's designed by the same person who designed those cores, and so they had a lot of experience, and a lot of the chips are similar because even though it's a newer, more modern core comparatively, a lot of the stuff is still similar. So a lot of the ways it was programmed, and even some of the chips, you can just straight up port them from those earlier games. But what they said about this core was, R-Type Leo is why they designed it, because you can't play R-Type Leo at home. It didn't get ports. So on the Mac App Store, yeah, that's right, that's the one port it did eventually get. But it didn't get, ports on, systems that people actually played. Whereas most other of its contemporaries ended up on stuff like Saturn and PlayStation, which have a lot of great stuff, and you can play that stuff on MiSTer too. Myself into a little bit of a pickle there, but I got out of it. Not bad. I concur, a full R-Type collection, especially if it had at least 1, 2, 3 in Leo, and maybe Delta. Although Delta only existed on a home system, it would be useful to have a forward port of that too. But yeah, Leo, Delta, 1, 2, and 3. I mean, that's a heck of a good thing. But the thing is the R-Type games are probably harder for M2 to get the rights to, because people are still making the modern R-Type Dimensions games and stuff, so they're probably stingier with the rights even to the older R-Type games. I do actually have those, on Steam and stuff. I actually have a pretty good Steam shmups collection as well. I can certainly play things on PC with my setup as well, but I tend to prefer the older stuff. The main reason I bother to have them on Steam is because, well, I own portable PCs, and sometimes that's the best way to play them. I actually have 3 portable PCs. I have a GPD Win 2, a Steam Deck, and the most recent, a Lenovo Legion Go, although that one was more for productivity use, even though it's intended as a games machine. But I bought it personally, and my intended use for it is more for productivity. Because it just happens to line up perfectly with what I want in a productivity laptop. That I can fit in a coat pocket. Yeah, Final 2 did pretty well, and, I own it. I own Final and Final 2 and all that stuff on Steam. I still need to get better at dodging this boss. It's alright though, that's why we're hanging out and practicing. You know, I just don't sweat it.
Let's go.
This game's a good game to do that with because it's so forgiving of deaths with the ability to repower up. Because I mean, I'm already at, you know, most of my offensive firepower at this point. The only thing I'm missing is missiles, and missiles are minor. A little slow, but bluntly moving a little slow isn't usually that much of a disadvantage in this game. So it's a pretty cool game to just kind of play casual and slowly learn that 1cc in. Dodging the bottom half of the screen. Well, maybe I'll try that next time. Yep, I should have made that dodge. But I didn't. Huh, I didn't know he could stop like that and do his attack. Because I knew it would do that laser, but I thought it only did that at the top and bottom of the screen. I didn't know it did. Good to know. Learning as I go. It's only like probably some of the right time I faced that boss.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Thought I could sneak through there. Not quite. Well. But yeah, starting to get there. Take a moment and use a little of my fancy throat spray because I've been talking too long. Especially had to kind of having interviews before I did it a long stream. For me, this is a long stream. Well, more than an hour is a long stream for me. But since I happen to have the time, I'll do it. I'll probably still run for one more hour after this. That probably is about what I'll run to, is about, you know, an hour and a few more. Basically till about 6:15 Eastern. Probably what I'm going to run today. And take a moment and check messages and the like. Mostly to see if I got anything. Yep, got a few job things that I'll be following up on tomorrow, but nothing that important.
Actually remixed Leo's level 5 music for Final 2. Yeah. Yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah, I have played all the way through Final 2. Fun game. Maybe I'll even stream Final 2 on this stream at some point. Actually do a, PC modern shmups day. Do Final 2 and Gunvein and things like that. Gunvein, by the way, is amazing if you are looking for a modern PC shmup. It's as good as anything Cave ever did. It's very, very... It's very like Cave games. It's, very like sort of Dodonpachi Daioju in feel. But with a few cool mechanics that I like a lot. I really like one of the specific ships and its mechanics. It's a lot of fun. I'll probably show it off at some point on stream. But right now, gonna learn ONCC of R-Type Leo.
Three, two, one.
Let's go.
This is the arcade version on MiSTer. Yes, it is. It is pretty much the only way to play R-Type Leo. It doesn't exactly have home ports. But yeah, I mostly play on MiSTer more often than anything else. The main other thing I actually play on is Dreamcast, and then occasionally on PC, but usually not using emulators. Usually that's stuff that's actually games on Steam, So if I'm playing PC, it's because I'm getting out, Gunvein or something. Games that are actually native to PC. If I can play it on the MiSTer, I will. I love my MiSTer setup. I have, nice CRT monitors I play on. My horizontal one, so therefore the one I'm playing this game on is an Ikegami. I also have a actual PVM that I keep in a vertical orientation. That one's actually even a multi-format PVM, so it'll go up to 1080i. But yeah, the Ikegami is not multi-format, just really, really good at, classic standard def, but it's absolutely gorgeous. 20-inch Ikegami professional monitor. Using a hand-built mix box as my control setup. Yep, I actually built this arcade stick I'm playing on. This isn't really an arcade stick. There isn't a stick. It's a leverless controller in a mix box orientation, which means like arrow keys and not with the hitbox orientation. I I might actually add Retro Spy to my stream sometime soon. Give you guys a view of what buttons I'm hitting when. Since I've been streaming more, I've been thinking of, actually, stopping doing the, almost minimal effort and actually putting a little more effort into production values and all that.
RetroSpy is, you know, free on MiSTer, because you can just tell MiSTer to do it, as long as it's one of the USB controllers and not something using Snack or Snacks. It'll just work. No extra hardware needed. Not that I am akin to extra hardware, not that I am averse to extra hardware anyway. I mean, the amount of hardware and stuff I have is ridiculous, bluntly. Thought I dodged around that. I did not. Oh well. And you're welcome, Structure Cube. Thanks a lot for hanging out.
3, 2, 1.
Feel free to drop me a follow. I'm actually, you know, streaming pretty regularly this last week. I'm hoping to keep it up like that and actually continue to stream regularly. I actually used to stream really regularly when I was hitting Bangai-O really hard, learning how to speedrun that one. I even got into SGDQ with that. But yeah, these days I'm, you know, just more playing a little more traditional shmups than the weird twin stick that is Bangai-O. Not that I don't mind going back to Bangai-O sometimes, because, well, it's a great game. Especially the Dreamcast version. It has an N64 version as well, which means, hey, I can play Bangai-O on MiSTer now. At least the N64 version. But the Dreamcast version is far superior due to a game mechanics change. Because, yeah, the versions are, you know, dissimilar in their game mechanics, and the game mechanics of the Dreamcast version are much better, especially if speedrunning is your goal. It is a much more fun and possible speedrun. Because the way the mechanics work in the N64 version, you have to charge up your super shot in it. And yeah, thanks for the follow, I appreciate it. I don't really like follower alerts, so if you follow and you think that, you know, oh, I'm missing you or whatever, yeah, I don't even have a follower alert. And I do that on purpose because, well, I don't really want not to interrupt my gameplay with things like follower alerts and subscriber alerts and things like that. I know a lot of people, that's, you know, that's what they're all about, but I'm here to have fun, and I figure that for most of you, you'll probably have more fun not being, you know, reminded of the, shall we say, commercial nature of streaming. So I don't have any sort of alerts of, like, you know, following or subscribing or any of that. And I don't really intend to. Because, although it might be nice if I could stream for a living, I don't expect that someone who streams the sort of things I do is ever going to get enough of a following to, you know, have it be anything more than a hobby that might make me, you know, the equivalent of beer money on occasion. Of course, for me it would be whiskey money, but, you know, same idea. Yeah, that's another thing I'm really into. If you ever want to, you know, have some serious talk about good whiskeys, and I mean all kinds of whiskeys. I'm partial to Scotch, but I'm really good with just about any kind of whiskey other than, like, your typical, like, American, you know, Tennessee whiskey sort. So, not a big fan of things like Jack Daniels, but just about any other kind of whiskey. Just about any other kind of whiskey is my thing. But yeah, I'd love to be able to make a living streaming, but like I said, you know, I don't expect that I will ever be able to make a living streaming the things that I stream. As well. There aren't that many people that want to hang out and watch chill shmups. I mean, not exactly the most common demographic. But hey, I'm having fun, and that's what's important to me, that I'm having a good time. And if other people can have a good time too, great. And if you're having a good enough time to, you know, consider subscribing or whatever, cool. But, you know, I'm not necessarily really out here, you know, expecting to do anything like make a living, because I'm realistic here. There just aren't enough people that want to sit around and watch chill shmups. Even if there were, they probably would have no ability to find me, right?
Let's go.
I might be able to solve the second half, but, you know, I just won't solve the demographic problem. You know, shmups are a niche genre. Although I will say, for a niche genre, shmuppers really care about shmups and are usually much more willing to part with their money, provided it gives them the experience they're after. But the experience is usually more about playing than watching other people's play. Because most shmuppers I've met, you know, although you enjoy watching someone else play a good shmup, especially because it just has great music and it's a nice thing to chill to, but at the end of the day, most shmuppers want to actually play the shmups. But maybe watching somebody else will give you some hints, or, you know, you can help compete against each other and compare yourself to each other and all that. Switch, none of us still getting red. Oh well, blue ain't bad, none of them are bad, and we can switch back. Yeah, I hope everybody's having a good time hanging out and
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
watching me play a shmup that I'm trying to earn to 1cc, playing the training wheels mode with all the difficulties turned to 0 and all the lives turned to max. But, well, that's how you learn. Eventually, I'll get good enough to turn to the difficult versions, right? But yeah, also another general thing, if you're, willing to hang out here and know who I am, if you need any technical help on streaming or anything like that, feel free to ask me. I am willing to help you with your setup. Because, well, I'm really experienced in the technology and stuff behind streaming, and I have an absolutely crazy setup. Hey, Retro Chaos Queen. Pretty good. Been actually running for quite a while today. Just about to start my 3rd hour of stream. Yeah, I actually had some free time today, and after my job interviews, decided to just keep it on running. Just been playing pretty much exclusively this. Hey, Snuggles, nice to see ya. Just hanging out and having some fun with the MiSTer. And I concur, this is, in my opinion, by far the most fun of the R-Type games. Although the other ones are a cool challenge. They are what they are. This one is, it's more of a closer to a traditional shmup, and it's just plain really well made. There's some of the R-Type feel to it, but it also has a lot of the, advantages of a more traditional shmup that R-Types tend to lack. It's a lot faster action as compared to R-Type typically. And there I am falling apart and dying. Oh well. This game also has a, the lack of Gradius syndrome is very awesome about this game. Another thing about this one is that it's actually relatively easy to get yourself back up to power-up strength. Because the power-ups are pretty numerous, and you only need a few to get back to full strength really quick. I'm already almost to full strength, and the only thing I don't have is the missiles, which honestly aren't that powerful in this game anyway. Yeah, I really need to get better at dodging this boss. I'm just kind of,
Three, two, one.
Let's go.
Well, that's cool. As for being a volunteering member of a board of directors, I actually am doing the same thing for one of the conventions that I often volunteer with. I'll be joining the board, or at least, if the election goes my way, which is very doubtful that it wouldn't, considering no one's running against me. But yeah, I'll be joining the board of directors of Convergence. Just one of my hobby things. But yeah, doing that sort of thing is certainly worth one's time. So what are you joining the board of? For your local women's center. Cool. Definitely a worthwhile way to spend your time. I certainly appreciate it. Made friends over there. Awesome.
Three, two, one.
Let's go.
But yeah, it's definitely nice having some people come and hang out. just chill to the music, because this one does have some nice chill music. It's one thing I, really love about playing this game a lot like I have been. The music just never gets old for me. Just good, chill music. Sometimes the more hard-hitting shmups, the music can kind of get a little grating if you hear it the 1,000th time. But this? Nah. And when you're enjoying yourself, you're probably going to play better. Definitely going to stream better.
Three, two, one.
Let's go.
Yeah, nice to see people chatting with each other. I always appreciate it. I'm glad everybody's having a good time and starting to visit with each other a bit. Because, the community that hangs out and streams where people are shmupping isn't all that big, and I wager that half of you have seen half of you before, I know I've seen a lot of you before, hanging out on places like Aqua's stream and stuff like that. And Snuggles stream, she streams fairly often. Retro Chaos Queen is another one who streams as well. It's actually kind of one of my jokes is that my real demographic is streamers. Like, more people who watch me are people who also stream than, like, anything else. Like, every other channel I go to is, it's all kinds of people who just randomly watch. But for me, for whatever reason, most of the people who watch me also stream. No complaints there. And don't feel bad if you don't stream when you're here, but it seems to be my demographic for whatever reason. People who also stream. And oftentimes I've hung out in their streams. certainly don't mind being the place that, you know, streamers come to chill out when they're not streaming. It's actually a fun way to be. At least that way I'm providing a service to somebody. But yeah, it's cool seeing people connect via my stream. My plan exactly for the winter? Yeah, well, cool. Have a great time.
Let's go.
My main plan for the winter involves getting my furnace fixed. No, really, my furnace is having issues. Luckily, I have electric heaters, which keep it pretty much just as warm as it would be with the furnace. It just, you know, costs more to operate. But oh well, we can use that and switch back. Yeah, doing a little better this time. I mean, you know, did die a few times, but nice and full power here in stage 4 and doing pretty well. Life spam through that, but hey, at least I got through it, huh?
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Oh well, gives me, you know, a little more practice in level 5 here. Thought I would get around fast enough, did not. Well, not too bad. Getting a little further each time, you know. And I guess we're on an ad break, so if you're here not watching an ad, I'm going to wait until the end of the ad break before we start the next credit. Ad breaks are pretty much only for Twitch, but yeah. Because Twitch is the only place where I have proper monetization going on. But yeah, we got about 7 more seconds, and then we'll get into our next credit. All right.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
Dying in stage 1. That is embarrassing. Oh well, it happened. This tells me I've probably been staring at this too long when I'm dying in stage 1, but that's alright. I don't mind playing for at least, you know, another 30, 40 minutes. That's my current plan, is to keep running for about another 30, 40 minutes and then probably be done with it.
Three, two, one.
Let's go. Didn't even notice he had fired.
Oh well. Like I said, I think I've been playing this a while. Oh well. Still getting some good practice in. Here I thought I was around that. Apparently I was not. Again, I always just keep forgetting how big this ship is. Because, you know, the full ship plus maybe a little extra is your hitbox.
3, 2.
It is not a small hitbox game. Not these small hitbox sort of dodges, have to dodge pretty macro. Yep, not a great game. That's okay, though. Well, a great game, but not a great play. And that's okay. Not every credit's going to be good, and that's just how it is.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go.
But yeah, I'll probably have time for, I don't know, 2 or 3 more credits before it's time to get going for the day.
killed me? Not quite. Guess I'm being lazy.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go. Let's go.
And so, onwards we go.
Let's go.
was it for that round. You know, it's been a good long stream. I think I'm going to call that as the end of it. Let's see if anybody's streaming that I want to send you to. There probably is somebody. Let's see who's going. I think today we're going to send you off to Jay Coper, who is currently streaming a Legend of Zelda randomizer race. Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past randomizer. He probably won't react much because it is a race, but we'll see how that goes, and I suspect you'll all have a great time anyway. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me today. I hope to see a lot of you again sometime soon. Have a good one.